Are you a woman who finally slowed down and instead of feeling peaceful, started feeling sad? Not because you're failing, not because you're going backwards, but because for the first time in a long time, you had enough space to feel what you had to carry, hide, survive, and postpone. Maybe you expected healing to feel lighter, more confident, more clear, more joyful, more free. But something else happened. You stopped running, you got quiet, you created a little more space. And suddenly, the tears came, the heaviness came, the ache came, the memories came. The old versions of you started showing up. And now you're wondering, why do I feel this way? Am I failing? Am I going backwards? Shouldn't I be better by now? Today I'm talking about the grief, actually, that can come when you start coming back to yourself. Not the obvious grief everyone recognizes, but the quiet grief. The grief of realizing how much you carried, how much you tolerated, how many versions of yourself you had to become to just survive. Please hashtag live if you're listening to this live or hashtag replay if you're listening this later. And put yes in the comments if you have ever slowed down and suddenly felt more, not less. You see, sometimes sadness comes because you are finally present enough to feel. You may not be stuck. You may be feeling what you had to delay. There is this kind of sadness that does not mean something is wrong. It comes when the noise gets quieter and when the pushing slows down and when the performance softens. And when you stop managing everyone and everything long enough to actually feel yourself. And suddenly, things you did not have time to feel start coming up. The grief for the younger you who tried so hard. The grief for the woman who held everything together. The grief for the years you abandoned your own needs. The grief for how much you accepted because you did not yet know you had a choice. And that sadness can feel confusing because nothing dramatic may be happening on the outside, but inside, something is catching up. In my life, I wasn't sad because I was stuck. I was sad because I was finally present enough to feel the cost of what I have been carrying for so long. And the heaviness was not a proof that I was failing. It was proof something in me was finally being heard. And please write heavy in the comments if you ever felt sadness come up once you finally stopped pushing, once you finally stopped to listen. Healing includes grieving the version of you that helped you survive. Not every old version of you was wrong. Some versions protected you, but they may not be able to come with you in the next season, and that's okay, because healing is not becoming more peaceful, more confident, more grounded. Today I have a cat who's listening and helping me. But sometimes this healing also means like letting go, and that can hurt. You may grieve the version of you who was always available, the version who never complained, the version who said yes, the version who kept achieving, the version who stayed quiet, the version who made everyone else comfortable, the version of you who survived by being strong, useful, good, responsible, impressive, and easy to love. And the tender part is those versions of you were not bad. They helped you, they protected you, they got you through the seasons where you did not have the safety yet, tools, support, or clarity, actually, you have now. But some versions of you can save you for a season and still not meant to lead you whole life. There is a reason the Phoenix story touches so many people. The fire does not come because the Phoenix is worthless. It comes because something old has completely because it has completed its season. Something has to be released so something truer can emerge. So you can be grateful for who you had to be and still know she cannot carry you further. Grief does not need to be fixed. It needs to be witnessed and allowed to move. And the way through a grief is not explanation, it is presence. You know, many high achieving women try to solve grief the way they solve everything else. Like explain it, turn it into a lesson, make it productive, move through it quickly, find the meaning immediately. But grief does not always want to be solved. It wants to be witnesses. Sometimes it wants your hand on your chest, a slower breath, a few honest tears, a quiet sentence like, of course, this hurts. Of course, I am tired. Of course, I feel tender. I carried so much. For me, it helped to see that grief, like all feelings, move. It rises, changes, softens, passes, returns, and moves again. It's not who I am. It's something moving through my experience. And when I stop labeling it as wrong, there is more space for it to move. And this does not mean that we dismiss it. It means we stop fighting it. Feeling is not a detour from coming home to yourself. Feeling is the way back. Please feel in the comments if you're ready to stop treating your tenderness like a problem. And here is the question to take with you today. What version of me am I grieving? Maybe the strong one, maybe the pleasing one, the overaging one, the quiet one, the one who never needs anything, the one who kept going because stopping did not feel safe. And then ask, can I thank her without becoming her again? Can I honor what she carried without asking her to keep carrying it? You know, you're not failing it because this feels standard. You're not going backwards because tears are coming up. You may simply be feeling what you had to postpone. And if you're tired of pouring, carrying, holding everything together, and still feeling like somehow it's never enough, I have a free resource that can help you gently look at what may really be underneath that feeling. And if a part of who are you grieving is the version of you who lived through other people's judgment, approval, expectations, or fear of being seen as wrong, I also have a gentle $7 course that helps you begin releasing fear of judgment and shame. I'll put both links in the comments below. And if this conversation helped you feel less alone in something tender, subscribe because I'm going live for 30 days and we're talking about confidence, self trust, grief, overthinking, exhaustion, and coming home to yourself. For today, I want you to remember this: you are not lost. You may be releasing the version of you who had to leave herself behind. And that's it. Thank you for being here and welcome home.